the Taliban has entered the outskirts of Kabul. The threat to Kabul is worsening with every passing minute. Now, the negotiation talks for a transition of power are underway. Government workers are fleeing the city in helicopters, and the Taliban fighters have entered the outskirts of the Afghan capital and are said to be awaiting a peaceful transfer of the city. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani is in talks with the US peace envoy Zalmay Khalilzad and NATO officials. The presidential spokesperson has assured that President Ghani has not resigned. Although some residents reported insurgents had peacefully entered some outer suburbs, now this comes hardly hours after the terrorists took over another provincial capital, Maidan Shar, which is just over 40 kilometers away from Kabul. Now, late last night, there was a power blackout in Kabul city, followed by helicopters movement believed to be evacuating the missions. And today, smoke was seen coming out of the US Embassy compound. Now, terrified Kabul residents are being forced to withdraw their savings, and hundreds of people have formed long lines outside banks. Some bank branches appeared to have already run out of cash. Now, Kabul residents will get the receiving end of the Taliban violence, along with tens of thousands who have sought refuge in Kabul in recent weeks. Just a short while ago, the Afghan presidential palace released a video that showed President Ashraf Ghani speaking to security officials about the security of Kabul, the capital city. Joining us live for more on this story is our diplomatic correspondent, Sudan Sybil. Good afternoon to you, Sudan. We are getting reports that President Ashraf Ghani has not yet resigned and is holding talks on the security situation of Kabul. Take us through the latest.
Well, it has been a dramatic day in Kabul. We have seen visuals and the social media, of course, is buzzing. There is, of course, a lot of rumor going also as well when it comes to situation in Kabul. But now the spokesperson of the President's office has confirmed to WION that President Ghani hasn't resigned, but also confirming that there is a negotiation happening as of now between the Afghan government and Taliban. There is speculation as well that Mullah Baradar of Taliban might be in Kabul, but that also has been dismissed now. Taliban spokesperson Sohail Shaheen also confirmed to WION that he is right now in Qatar, in the Qatari capital Doha. But nonetheless, it has been a day of dramatic developments. We know the Taliban is now on the gates of Kabul, but it hasn't entered. There are, of course, instances of they entering in certain parts of the city. But one thing is certain, that there is no use of force by Taliban, because it is clear that if Taliban tries to capture Kabul through violence, then there are two things that Taliban will be facing when it comes to problems. One, of course, is a strong reaction by the US government. We know that yesterday the US President Biden made it clear that if Taliban tries to indulge in violence, especially when it comes to US personnel who are being evacuated, then there will be a strong reaction. Second is, and something that Taliban dearly wants, is legitimacy, a global legitimacy. It has been going to Tehran, Moscow, Beijing for this legitimacy, and it got the same message that if it tries to capture power in Kabul through violence, then there will be no legitimacy. Last week, there was a crucial meeting, in fact, a series of crucial meetings in Doha, in which India also participated, and then there was a chair statement which was released, under which it was clearly mentioned that if Taliban tries to capture power through violence, then there will be no legitimacy given to it. So that is why Taliban itself has made it clear that it's not going to enter the city, and we saw the statement as well coming from the Taliban spokesperson. So situation remains precarious. Afghan President has also released a video as well in which he has spoken to the security personnel. The big focus is what next, perhaps next 42 hours or 48 hours, and will be crucial in terms of the developments on the ground.
Sivan, thank you for bringing us all the latest coming out of Afghanistan there. Now, our correspondent Anas Malik has sent us this report from Kabul. Take a listen in.
Well, what we know is that President Ashraf Ghani is currently in a meeting with U.S. Special Envoy for Afghan Peace, Ambassador Zalmay Khalilzad. This is what has been confirmed by Afghan Presidential Palace. If I talk to you about what is happening here in Kabul right now, to my left, at least in the skies of Kabul, I can spot at least 4 helicopters, with one of them being constantly hovering over the U.S. Embassy compound. We've been seeing helicopters go in, fly in and fly out. There is an evacuation mission that we understand is ongoing of the European embassies, of the U.S. Embassy and of the Canadian Embassy as well. If you can hear probably as I talk to you, that there are helicopters that are hovering over. I see another helicopter to my left, again towards the U.S. Embassy compound. So there is excessive movement of helicopters that are being witnessed today on the streets of Kabul. There is chaos, there is anger, there is frustration. We see policemen who are angry at the people, at their higher commands for not resisting the Taliban. We are given to understand that the Taliban spokesperson has said that there is a transition of power, there is negotiations for the transition of power that is currently ongoing, and subsequently we saw a statement coming in from the acting Afghan Interior Minister as well, saying that the transition of power will be peaceful. Given to understand that the meeting of Zalmay Khalilzad at the Afghan Presidential Palace is to do with that. There are some reports that Taliban officials are also there at the Afghan Presidential Palace. It is unverified as yet, independently unverified about Taliban officials being present in the Afghan Presidential Palace. But what I can confirm that indeed U.S. Special Envoy for Afghan Peace, Ambassador Khalilzad, is in a meeting along with NATO senior civil representative Stefano Pontecorvo, and additionally the two are meeting Afghan President Ashraf Ghani at the Afghan Presidential Palace.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.